There we go. Now it works. Now I'm talking. Hi friends. How are we all doing? I'm back with another stream on Locomotion. I did the walk cycle last time, and it was like a very basic intro to walk cycle, just getting the legs to move and the body to move with it. And so this time I'm going to do a very similar thing, except I'm going to do a personality walk. So last time it was a very standard, I don't think I even put arms on her, walk. And this time I'm going to add a little personality to it, because that is what is like usually necessary and really helpful to have on any production is how does the character act when they're walking, and how does their personality impact their normal gait. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Leo is a little bit more graceful, if I remember from all the turtles. She's very much like the motherly older sibling. So I have an idea for the personality that's going to go into her walk. It's going to be fairly similar to what I did last time. Like same exact steps. This time we're just going to put a little bit more life into it. Last time was very standard for the purpose of just explaining a walk and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Silly creature, I love your name. I just think it's very fun. And also hello Red. I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh well, we'll see. So I'm gonna start the same way as I did last time. I have the two ground planes for her feet to rest on, and I have her reference that has all these guidelines on it, just to help me keep track of where her body lands as she's walking. It can be really helpful to do something like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is called pose exploration, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's me just testing what different kind of poses will help convey her personality throughout the entirety of the walk. Usually I'm going to start on sorry, I know it makes a lot of noise when I move my mic, but I usually would start on the contact pose for that exploration, and then we will move on from there. Immature noodle and now silly creature. I love that. That's so good. How would you animate your own walk cycle for human spork? Peppy or tired? Myself? I walk like a linebacker. I've been told that I walk like I'm being hunted for sport. So if I'm animating myself walking, it's probably like this, and probably a fairly exaggerated swinging of my arms. That's the pose I would go for human spork. That's just what I look like, and I constantly have music. Anyway. Personality walks are fun because you get to explore who the character is in a very simple loop. See, there's nothing immature, there's nothing wrong with being silly. Like, you can be silly and still be mature. That's what I'm learning as being an adult, you know? Like, as long as you know when to be silly, you can be mature about it. So for Leo's walk, my first thought is to kind of have her, I'm gonna do this in a different color. I think I still have the old layer hidden. So the first time she was very stiff. Obviously, like I said, it's a standard walk. But this time I kind of want to maybe have her reflecting a little bit. So I'm going to kind of arch her back outward a little bit instead of forward and down. I don't want her walk to look like snooty, but I do want it to be very almost poised. Because I think that will help sell the graceful aspect. I don't think that her shoulders should be that far back. I don't want her hand, because if I made her hand outwards like this, right, as she's walking with a straight arm, that might read as snooty. So I think just turning her hand ever so slightly might give the indication that it's just kind of like not a full-on, not intentional, the way that she's holding her hands. Apps know you as Noodle. That's hilarious. I can only imagine like getting marketing emails. It's like, hey Noodle, get 15% off on caterpillars and I don't know. Oh hell yeah. I like being background noise. Honestly, I just want these streams to be like either you learn something from them or you use me as like ambience. Like, this is work time. This is collective parallel work time. Pip, I feel like I can't judge your walk accurately since when I did see you, you were actively limping. But I can confirm. I think this is a decent base pose. Oh my god, the McDonald's app has used Noodle. That's so funny. I think mine is... No, mine isn't Spark Art. Mine is like a nickname that I had in high school. But at least it's like a fairly, like common name. Oh, you have a natural limp. Great. I mean, you having a zombie walk does definitely match up with the grave part of your username. Oh yeah, what is everyone else working on? Sorry, I'm being I'm sipping my cold coffee from this morning and not interacting with chat as much as I should. One of the other things I'm going to try to do this time is be a little bit more careful about the way that my sketch looks, because last time it did not provide me with enough information to add the feet, or like the structure of the feet, and when I started clean up, it definitely got a little wonky. So this time I'm going to kind of start adding the I'm going to start adding the structure of the feet a lot more. Why is it like that? Someone's cat has your name? Oh, you mean your real name, not not Gravepunk. Oh my god. No, not a dog. Oh hell yeah, Red. I can't wait to see it. Oh wait, I'm ignoring my own advice. I'm going to work on making sure that I get the leg solid on my first pass. Hi. Oh my god, don't swap their skin. That sounds horrific. That's cool though. I know, because I've been watching through Rise again with one of my friends who is a bit older than me, and I say that like with affection, not as an insult. But they grew up watching the 80s cartoon and like reading some of the earlier comics, and they said that like so many times Michelangelo and Raphael's like they're the red and yellow that they're orange. Oh my god, the red and orange that they used for Mikey and Raph were so similar that you would very often see Mikey with like Sai and Raphael with with nunchucks. Apparently it was just like a very common thing for the color team to just not pay attention to which turtle was which. I have never learned how Twitter works. I have one and I just don't use it. So, unfortunately, I have no advice there. Oops, that's the wrong brush. Tootin' mean age needle teetles. I can only imagine. I mean, like, I understand why they did it, but I feel like they did it to themselves by having them all look so similar, except for the weapons, their colors, and then their like bandana colors and the letters on their belt. But to be fair, in the 80s, they were still animating on cells. They hadn't transitioned to digital yet, so I can only imagine that sometimes if there was a mistake, they were just like, we're not gonna fix it. Oh my god, no! Wrong voice for wrong brother. Oh my god. I love, like, on the one hand, I understand, like, how mistakes happen so easily. Especially when you have characters with such similar designs. And on the other hand, it's so funny to look at. I think, it's just like, it baffles me when, because of the way that I am, it baffles me when shows have like a really large ensemble, and like TMNT does not have a very large ensemble. Obviously, it's like the brothers and then Splinter, and then whoever their villains are for that episode. But I know there are some pretty large ensemble live action TV shows that I've heard are just like, occasionally a character will show up and they're like, how did they get there? Because they definitely weren't that close before. Like, I know it was a major, like, big joke when Game of Thrones was popular. I never watched it, but like, I was a person on the internet, so of course you hear things about it. And I remember somebody plotted out like the locations of a few characters in each episodes, and some of them were genuinely just teleporting around this like giant world, in which one of the major plot points was like how long it takes to cross an area of it, and some character was literally just teleporting around because like somebody didn't think to keep track of where they were. And that tends to happen when you have like big writing teams who aren't allowed to communicate. I'm sure, you know what? It's like those like body swap episodes, which I actually kind of like. I think they're fun when they're done right. But yeah. Hello. I shouldn't be adding this much detail into the beginning sketch, but last time I had an issue with keeping proportions, so this time I'm being cautious about it, I think. You know what it is? Her head is shaped like a medieval knight helmet. You know where they looked like this and they had that bottom part with the like feather or whatever. Doesn't even know what I'm talking about. I am using TV Paint. I don't recommend it for like beginners because it's very expensive. I just have it because it was like I got a discount through my school and all that stuff, and also I was like, yeah, well, hopefully I'll be a professional soon. But if you're looking for a similar program, the program OpenTunes, it's spelled like this, works really well. Like it's very similar. If you're learning to animate, or you want to learn a raster-based program instead of vector-based like Flash. Oh yeah, Flash. Oh, Macromedia Flash, like actual Flash, not Adobe Animate, like the old kind. Dang. I respect that. It has a lot of capabilities if you want to go between hand-drawn and puppeted animation. I just can't get over the vector brushes. I like my raster-based brushes, even if they do get a little crunchy sometimes when I'm trying to manipulate them. Frog mouth in French. I think they should call it turtle mouth, because it looks like turtle. It looks like turtle. Turtle it looks like. Urgh. I'm gonna turn into Yoda by the end of this stream. Okay, and I'm gonna do her arms on a separate layer because I want to be able to see the rest of the body as I'm working. I don't want to cover up anything important. I can tell, yeah, if it's, oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even know what version it's on. Well, I mean, obviously now it's called Animate, but I know that old versions of Flash were like top tier. Again, I just don't like the vector-based brushes. I used Flash for quite a while when I was still doing like puppet animation. Haven't used it in a bit though. I liked the ability to make things into symbols was really nice if you had like assets you needed to use again and again. And then it made tweening really easy. Like I think tweening in Flash is a lot easier than trying to tween in Harmony, at least for beginners. It was a little bit more intuitive. What am I looking for? I'm looking for a reference. Okay. I think there's also like a style aspect to it. Like I have a style that lends itself a lot more to raster based approach. Versus I have friends who have like a really cool, very like bold and graphic style that would work a lot better for vector based illustration. There we go. I kind of want the way she's holding her hands to be a little bit deliberate, but not entirely. Frogmouth helms. Thank you for the medieval fact of the day. One of my favorite bits from Rise is the library episode where Mikey gets thrown into the kid room and he like sits up and he has that look on his face, and then all of the children are like, "New toy," and he goes, "Where?" But it's just like one open mouth face. It's that to me is like the funniest bit. I love different expressions, or when you animate through an expression instead of like just focusing on the like quote unquote correct mouth shape. Instead, you just like force the expression to work in there. I think it's so funny. I know realistically her shell wouldn't deform in any way, but I really need this pose to like work, so I'm gonna fudge around with her shell. It's such a good episode. I love that, like, you were like, oh, Donnie's finally gonna get his time to shine, and then he gets so wrapped up in his, like, mnemonic device to remember the book's location that he, like, gets so loud and gets taken away. I don't know if that hand works yet, but I will figure it out when I get to the next part. So same as last time, the next pose I'm going to do is the other contact pose, which will be on 13. And actually, I should just make a new frame, because all I'm going to end up doing is reversing. I wonder if I can get away with just... and then using the warp tool to move the foot. There we go. Mermaid moment. Dude, seeing mistakes after you finish is awful. Especially if it's like something that you have to go back and in between. Pip, you and I are two different people. If I see a mistake, I go back and fix it. I have to go back and fix it. It will bug me forever. I also want to use the warp tool to kind of adjust her body on this frame. I should really just redraw it. That's true. But your work is also a lot more permanent. So, no. Oh no, Red. If you have to go, you have to go, my guy. All good. Yeah, TV animation uses a lot of holds, which is really nice for like production schedules and stuff. And they've been getting really good about like just skewing or transforming bodies in ways where like you don't even have to redraw the image. They're literally just using like a transform tool to move them ever so slightly to make it look like they're moving a lot more than they are. It's actually something that like I've been trying to work on getting better at because it takes a lot more practice than you think. To be able to do it without making it look like there was a direct copy and paste. All good. Catch you later, Red. Thanks for joining. Honestly, the most difficult part about animating is like where to pose the hands when the walk or during the walk. So I might just do the one hand first and then I'll add the second hand in later. Next is the up pose. Or no. Next is the passing position. What am I talking about? So for the passing position, the body will just move up just a little bit, not too much, not as much as the up pose, but we gotta give ourselves enough room for this center leg to be almost in the middle. Actually, I don't need to be doing that because I have leg to copy from. I am going to have her tilt forward slightly, I think. And then her torso is going to start moving. Not moving, but rotating. And then, oh, I gotta do the one on the other side. Seven, 2, 25, because it's about a second long, so let's do this one. And then same with this one. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit forward. This leg socket is going to just move forward ever so slightly. And I can place, it's actually, the behind leg. There we go. It's like once you get these poses, hey, don't do that. Once you get these poses in, okay, my fault is here. Once you get these poses in, everything starts to kind of fall in line. I can see that on my second contact pose, the back leg is actually a little bit too low, which is why she looks like she's limping a little bit. So I'm going to raise this hip line, see if that helps. It should travel in an arc, so it should start here and then move up and back and down, kind of in a circle. Yeah, that's looking much better. Except for the fact that there's 2 of these frames. Okay. Big hands. I was just guessing. I don't have the reference with the hands in front of me. But I can totally change that. I'll fix those later. Oh, so actually, the body and shell, all I did was I kind of rotated them upwards this way. So I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, but I traced over this shape here. And then I rotated it. I think I took the transform tool and just went upwards like this. Well, because she has this kind of like, I guess I did exaggerate the front a little bit, but I just kind of rotated them this way because I wanted her to be walking a little bit more like poised and graceful. If that's okay, I'll keep it, but it was more of like a, it is the same shape, it's just now been rotated this way, if that makes sense. Because I know, like, when we do turnarounds, they're usually like flat, or not flat, but they're like pretty rigid on purpose. And so since now I want to work on a little bit more personality in the walk, I just kind of rotated the form a little bit. But it is actually the same shape, just, 15 degrees to the left. Except for the front. You're right. I did actually kind of modify her front a little bit. Actually, her shoulder's off a little bit. Yeah, I've been watching Rise with a friend of mine, and I think that that's kind of like invading my brain. Because they do a really good job of making the bodies very expressive while still retaining the hard shell. And I think, yeah, but I mean, like I said, this is pretty much the same shape, just rotated 15% to the left. Thank you. I have to be very clear that like what I'm drawing right now is not my personal style. It's the style of Inverse. But the rest of the stream was made by me. So I can't take credit for the art style. It's not mine. But I enjoy the like vaporwave kind of like mall soft aesthetic. So if that's what you're talking about, then thank you. Now I have lines on layers that I don't even know exist. There we go. The hardest frame for me is the down phase, or the recoil. I think a lot of times when I'm doing a walk cycle, this is the frame in which everything starts to go wrong. So I'm going to do my best to like keep everything on model this time. Because I think when I worked on the walk on Monday, I totally beefed the recoil. The recoil is actually almost a head below the passing position. No, the contact position. No, it's a head below the passing and half a head below the contact. So it's a lot lower than I thought it was. Again, Richard Williams's guide up here is not the catch-all end-all to walk cycles, but it's definitely really helpful to look at if you're like me and struggle with one of the poses. Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, wait. Because I've been, I didn't even finish my thought there. I just said I've been and then stopped talking, which is unfortunately a common theme for me. Yeah, I think that works a lot better. This foot is too small. Okay, hopefully that... So the problem that I'm having is that it just looks like the leg is collapsing on itself. It doesn't really look like it's bending at the knee. And I think it genuinely is because I don't have the body down far enough, and the knee should still bend forward quite a decent amount. Because if I'm looking at my reference, the lines are bending this way. It might also be a case of I'm drawing the thigh too large. Her upper thigh is actually quite small. So in order to remedy that, I'm just going to take directly from this reference. There, that looks a little bit better. So there's still a little bit of poppiness, and that might also just come from the fact that I have no in-betweens, and these are just like straight keyframes. Whoa. Did not mean to do that. TV paint moment. Okay. I don't have the up, so I can't judge it just yet. True. There's definitely some like nope, thought is gone. No more thoughts. There's definitely some like nuance to her leg that I'm not thinking about yet. Which is definitely why I'm doing a second walk cycle. Okay, that down is the recoil is way too active. So what I'm going to do is just move her slightly upwards. And kind of fudge the knee from there. It doesn't look too bad. It still looks a little bit like her leg is collapsing into itself on that recoil. But that just might be, I need to go back and edit the head and body so that they don't move as much. Or just add more in-betweens, because I'm on 3s right now. I almost need like a sharp knee here. It might just be because I don't have the other frames in as well. Okay. Stump. Stump, stump, stump. Or stub. You're all good. We're all just working here, hanging out, having a good time. There's still like a little pop at the knee, but I have a feeling that's to do with the fact that I'm on threes and I just need like a few more in-betweens to make up the difference. But it looks pretty decent so far, I think. Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement. And then I don't have the arms, which I think I have a new idea for the arms. this is what I was kind of thinking for the hands. Hello! Oh my god, I haven't heard that phrase in forever. Oh, the hands are reversed. Yeah. So when you're animating arms on top of a walk cycle that you've done, you're usually when you walk, and everyone's different, but when we go for readability, your arms will swing opposite of your legs. So her right arm should be moving forward as her right leg is set backwards. That's why I didn't like the arms, because they were just backwards. I completely forgot. So here in this frame, I'm actually going to move her arm backwards, and I'm going to put a little bend in it. I don't know if I want her to like have her arms swinging kind of stiff and Barbie style. I do want a like natural kind of flow to it, but I do want to like have her arms posed very deliberately. So I'll put this slight bend at the elbow. Let's see, and then so the hand can rotate backwards on the next frame. For this one, I think I'll go and this arm might be a little too far forward, because she does have a fairly big shell that it isn't going to rotate as much as a human like torso, or twist, I guess is a better term. So if I have to adjust the back arm, I'll do it later. But yeah, so then our up pose, or sorry, passing pose, arms are kind of going to be directly in the center of where they'll finally be, and I'm going to turn off onion skin for this one. So she'll still have a slight bend in her elbow. And the hand is going to drag behind the elbow or the arm. So it might honestly be something like this. Oh, again, I'm thinking the total wrong direction. Luckily, I could just copy this pose, because this one should actually be, I don't want to do that. I want to copy to brush. This pose should actually be this passing pose. I'm still moving in the wrong direction here, so I have to remember that now her arm is moving forwards, not backwards. So in this case, her shoulder is going to be pushing her arm, and then, so the shoulder will be pushing the bicep, which is pushing the elbow, forearm, and then hand in a kind of chain. So this time, the shoulder and elbow will be first, and then the forearm is gonna drag behind it. We might get a slightly awkward half bent pose, and then most importantly the hand will drag behind everything else. Like that. Tea and spaghetti. Yeah, I can see how those are related. Your recoil is kind of like your most extreme pose. No, I lied. That's your contact. Yeah, things hardly move between your recoil and passing poses. So I'm really gonna favor the previous frame, except for the hand, which I'm gonna start rotating to the, I keep drawing the same thing that I keep erasing. The hand is going to start rotating outward because we're dragging along. I know it's hard to see, but I know it's there. I'm not a hot tea guy unless it's like certain circumstances, I think. I love iced tea though. I'm a huge fan of like the Arizona honey ginseng. So I completely forgot the up pose is going to be your most extreme pose. So I'm actually going to move outwards past the contact. The hands look a little wonky. That's okay. I will fix them later. Right now I'm just going for structure. And then I have to remember on this up pose, the hand will be its most extreme this way. So obviously it just kind of stays there for a little bit. It's me not having a pose here. So we'll start bringing this arm back. And this is when we start to rotate that hand again. So there is a pretty extreme jump, and again, that's partially because I have no in-betweens. Well, I technically, like, the down or the recoil and up are in-betweens, but like, I just have these major poses. And her hand kind of hits this brick wall right here, you can see. It just stops very suddenly, so that's definitely something that can be remedied with a little bit of drag and follow through. This walk cycle is fairly decent for like TV quality. If I was going to put it in my reel, I'd probably add a few more in-betweens. and then of course fix the motion of the arm and hand, because like I said, right now it's hitting a brick wall. So I think the offending frame is this one, which is at my up pose. So despite the arm being correct, I might move the hand, and I might not add the fingers just yet. So it might be something like this. Yeah, so that is a lot more of the motion that I wanted. There's still a little bit of like weird stopping on the final pose. And that's just something that comes with like adjusting the poses during tie downs. But for the most part, like this walk cycle I think looks much better than the one I did on Monday. It's not perfect. There's still a lot of things I need to fix and alter. And I'm definitely going to work on it more, but for the most part, like this is the walk cycle that I'm going to keep working on and like kind of take to finish. I think it shows a lot more of Leo as an individual rather than just like a standard static walk. There's still a lot more I could do to push her personality, I think, which I may revisit later on. But for now, I'm fairly happy with this walk cycle. I think it looks a lot better than the one I did on Monday. Yeah, there's still some things to fix with the arms, and that'll just come with me going through the tie down phase. But right now, as a rough sketch, it's okay. Anyway, it's my turn to go help and make dinner. I've been really trying to like stream for a solid 2 hours, but I think I'm really only ever going to hit 1.5. Hopefully, I can finish up the cleanup on the other Leo animation soon, so that will be posted and ready to go. I've just been having some trouble with TV Paint's pen tool. But yeah, so thanks for joining. Next week, I will either be working on more locomotion in terms of like jumping or stretching. I have like some animations planned for the other turtles that I want to start to work on. Because I think as I animate, we can definitely make decisions on what to change for the final designs. But other than that, I'm going to... Yeah, so next week will probably be Locomotion of other turtles. Most likely Mikey, because his turnaround's the most... Or maybe it'll be Raph, because that's my son. And then some personal projects, possibly. If I do any personal project, it would be on Wednesday. Yeah, I just have like something big in the works that I can't really do on stream. So that'll be going up on my channel hopefully soon. But thank you all for hanging out, and I will see you next week. Bye.